This is going to be a full moon in Aries pick a card reading. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the energies you may be experiencing with this dramatic, intense, energetic full moon in Aries. So in the comments, please let me know your zodiac sign and your word of the day or your vibe for this full moon. You know, I would say that the energy feels like it's just augmenting, it's increasing with every moment. And not to sound dramatic, but I mean, it is Aries energy. It is a full moon. We're in the throes of it. And I'm so curious to see what comes through today. I've actually been thinking about this reading. I mentioned it in the chakra reading that I did yesterday that I wanted to do a pick a card reading. And I was like, when am I going to film this? Should I film this tonight? Should I do it in the morning? And I just said, you know what? I'm going to wake up and let it just be whatever it is in the moment. So yes, I'm filming this right on the full moon in Aries. So take a look at the decks below. Pick the deck or the card that resonates with you the most. Okay, we're going to do obviously a full reading for each one. We're going to look at what's going on in your head space, your heart space, and sort of like what's next to come. Now, look at the pictures, the colors. What are you most drawn to? So please in the comments, let me know which deck you chose. Now, it is possible that you may choose more than one, and that's okay. You can watch all three if you want. I know there's always something in each reading for everybody. So it all depends on how you're currently feeling and how long you'd like to watch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these other decks to the side. Obviously, we're going to start with the deck on the left here, deck number 1. Sorry, I giggle to myself every time I say deck, as you know, or inside joke, deck with an E. I always have to clarify deck because you never know how some things can sound when you're speaking. So let's take a look at some overall themes and messages. So as I'm taking this moment to shuffle, what are your intentions? What are your intentions for this full moon? What is it that you would like to release? Because full moons essentially are about letting go, purging, and surrendering. So let's see the overall themes and messages. And we have here stability. Isn't that what we all want? We want stability. We want peace. And this says passage. Very interesting. You want to move into more stability. Refuge. Again, you want to feel more at peace. You want to feel protected. You want to feel stable. Now, the numbers on these cards are 14, 40, and 16, if those mean anything to you. 1 plus 4 is a 5. Big changes ahead. 4s is all about divinely guided and protection. It is also about stability. I mean, think of 4 legs on a chair or a table, right? And then 16 is a number 7. So we want the alignment, right? Okay, so let's take a look here. I've got my tarot cards ready. Let's take a look at your headspace. What might you be experiencing right now with this full moon? And we have here the World. Okay, completion of a cycle. You're letting something go. It's time to let it go. Let me just move that up just a smidge so that I have enough room. And with that, we have the 3 of Swords. Okay, so, you might be thinking about how to let go of that heartbreak. Time to move on from it. It's an old story. Exactly. There's new energy here. And the Ace of Wands, if I'm not mistaken, is Aries energy. It means a spark, right? A passionate new beginning. Maybe there's new love on the horizon. Maybe you're thinking about that, Or it could even be going to the next level in something. And here we have, see, 6 of Swords, moving on to calmer waters and peace. Absolutely. I support that message. Now, let's take a look at the heart space. Okay, the Hierophant. This is very slow, methodical energy. It's about going step by step and day by day. And I want to remind you that every step you go up, like think of a staircase, you have to release an old one. And it's necessary. We've got to purge. We've got to let go. This also can be about commitment. This could be about a relationship or wanting to commit. But at the same time, in order to commit to someone else, you have to commit to yourself first. You know, something that I haven't really mentioned in a reading, I've said it in some sessions, is I'm calling it the 212. And the 212 basically means that people want the Two of Cups, right? They want partnership. They want love. They want a relationship. But in order to have 2 cups, you have to start with 1 cup. Once you have 1 cup filled, then you go back to 2. And therefore, 212, that equals 5. 5 is big changes ahead. If you want big changes in your love life and you're aspiring for that 2 of Cups, well, then ultimately you've got to recognize that 1 cup is the most integral and the most important. And then you'll get to that 2 of Cups, and then you'll have your big changes, you know? So let's see, what else do we need to know here? And by the way, the Hierophant is a number 5 card, and that's what we want. We want change. We may fear it, but we need it. We want it. There's the Hermit. The Hermit energy is all about searching your soul. I mean, in your heart right now, you basically have to ask yourself, what is it that you want? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? You know, I started thinking about the 2025 tarot forecasts. I do them every year, you know, where starting in December, usually I'll do, you know, forecasts for the upcoming year. And, you know, we have to think about, not everything has to be set in stone, but we have to think about, like, what are the intentions? You know, where do we see ourselves going? Sometimes it's important to reflect on where we've been and where we're at so that we can set some goals for the future. Let's see what else. Okay, we have here the 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, very slow moving energy. Even strong Virgo energy here as well. I mean, earth energy, groundedness. I mean, there was the earth spirit right there. You know, maybe this theme for deck number 1 is stability, being grounded. Because this is saying you're going to harvest. It's just you're not going to harvest overnight. It's going to take time. Right? As I always say, you can't go busting out the miracle grow to get everything to bloom or grow quicker. It doesn't work that way. But you will harvest. It's just slow. And sometimes in the heart space, that's what's frustrating. You know, we want everything to move fast. We want instant gratification. And here we have the 10 of Pentacles. Look, all this earth energy. This is having your tangible wish fulfillment. You've just got to walk through that gate, walk through that door, walk through that portal, whatever it is, and say, I'm ready. So let's take a look at what are the next steps. What's to come based on this energy for you in the full moon in Aries. And there's the 10 of Wands. Yeah, you've got to put down the burdens. That's step number 1. Okay? If you're feeling mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally exhausted, you've got to let it go. You've got to let it go. Now, 1010 could also be an angel number that you're seeing. I was channeling very heavily October 10th, if that's something that resonates with you. I've spoken about it in many of my other videos. And there's the Fool. See, that Aries energy that's saying, trust, take a leap of faith, go for it. Don't worry. What do you have to lose? No risk, no reward. Put down those burdens. I know it's hard. But how many of you want to feel that burden? You don't. Of course you don't. Who wants the weight of the world on their shoulders? Who wants anything complicated? I know I don't. Let's see. The Chariot, moving forward, victory. I mean, you can't even make this up, honestly. And yeah, walking away from the things that no longer serve you. Wow, this is quite the in-depth reading for deck number 1. I'm really pleased with this energy. I hope you are too. Now, before we move on to the next deck, I want to take a 4 Agreements card to see what we need to know. Assume nothing. Exactly. Assume nothing. You know, just take things as they come, step by step, day by day. Okay, let's read this card. In any kind of relationship, we can make the assumption that others know what we think, and we don't have to say what we want. We assume they're going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do what we want, we feel hurt and think, how could you do that? You should know. Not everybody knows. We assume they know. They don't always know. Okay? And let's take a Moonology card for the full moon in Aries. What do you need to know as this last bit of guidance? All right. Take time to breathe out. Maybe you need to meditate, just take a deep breath in general to sort of ground yourself and take a moment. You know, before I go into the next deck, please let me know in the comments if this resonated with you. Of course, I would appreciate a like, a comment, a subscribe. It really helps people find my videos, helps the algorithm. Again, I'm always so thankful for you taking the time to watch my videos. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these cards off to the side. Take a second. Think about what we've just talked about or what you've just heard and see if that sits with you. Okay, so let's move on to deck number 2. Now, let's get some overall themes and messages. And of course, while I'm shuffling, like I said earlier, take a second. What are your intentions? What are you wanting to do with this full moon in Aries? Let's see. Earth magic. Oh, wow. Funny how in the previous reading, if you did watch it, we talked about stability. You know, something we don't realize is what's happening beneath the surface. You know, people sometimes can't see the process of growth because we don't know what it looks like. Because under the surface, there's roots and they're growing day by day and getting stronger and bigger and better. And anything can happen. Anything is possible. This is a number 1 card, which is a brand new beginning. Let's see what else. Body and soul. This might be an energy where you're saying, I need to take better care of myself, my health, physical and mental, feeling more connected on a soul level, spiritual level. Ooh, waking the lion. Okay, so if you watched my chakra reading yesterday, you know, because it was called Waking the Lion. Very strong fire energy, lion energy, self-worth, self-value, self-respect, your sacral chakra. Wow, okay. And by the way, 1 + 9 is 10. 1 + 0 is a 1. So, you know, this is about big changes. And I mean, the 5 right in the middle, big changes ahead. You know, I talked about the 2-1-2. I don't know if you heard me say it in the previous reading, but I was talking about the 2-1-2. And that's something I've been thinking about in my mind a lot lately, where in general, you know, so many of us want partnerships, right? We want love. We want that 2 of Cups. But to have 2 of Cups, you got to have 1 cup first. And then you can have 2 cups. So that's why I call it the 2-1-2. Because you're going to go from 2 cups in your intentions to 1, because you got to learn the lesson of how to fill your own. Then you can have 2 cups, and that equals 5. And 5 is big changes ahead. And that's what we want, even though we're afraid of them, you know? So let's take a look at the tarot. We're going to look in your headspace. We're going to look in your heart space. And then what are the next steps with this full moon in Aries? So in the headspace, we have here, oh, the shadow side. Yep. Interesting. Well, this is an energy that basically says things are being revealed to you. And you might have been hiding. You know, the moon in general illuminates, you know, like think of a dark sky with a bright moon, you know, it shows us things, it reveals things. I feel like you're going to have a lot of revelations during this full moon energy. And by the way, the full moon energy lingers, you know, it's not just on the date of the full moon. It's not just the 17th, right? It's for a few days. You may have been feeling it beforehand. You'll feel it after. And here we have the sun. Oh, look at this. How interesting. The sun always rises. You know, it's funny. I've heard some people describe this full moon as almost like eclipsey, like where it feels like an eclipse. You have to remember we had a full moon partial lunar eclipse in Pisces, you know, many weeks ago now. And then we had 2 weeks ago the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. and now the full moon in Aries. So it's almost like we're getting a little mini eclipse vibe after those other two eclipses. But the sun always rises. Everything's going to be okay. Even if something is revealed, even if something comes to light, even if you get the unexpected, it's okay. Every day's a new day, right? So let's see what else here. Okay, somebody's been feeling left out in the cold. That Five of Pentacles energy has been strong. I've seen it come up actually quite a bit in my readings. So if you're feeling left out in the cold, it's important for you to start warming yourself up. You know, depending on where you live in the world, get out in the sun. Get that enlightenment. Nourish yourself. King of Swords, be decisive. I think it's time you decide what you want. Okay, let's take a look at the heart space. What's going on in the heart space? Ace of Pentacles, you have a new opportunity. This is about investing in yourself. Tangible, new beginning, new home, new job, new relationship. The beginning stages of something. The Fool, there's that Aries energy of the full moon. Okay. This is saying trust, take a leap of faith, don't worry. Nine of Cups, ask and you shall receive. Anything is possible right now. Anything is possible. Okay. And Queen of Pentacles, stability. That's what you're striving for. Very interesting messages linked to actually deck number 1. But this is saying to you, you've got to work on your manifestation. You've got to make sure that you're addressing the root of what is holding you back. You know, I help people with that all the time. I can help you as well if you need that guidance. But often we have a subconscious belief system that says, I don't know if I can have this. I don't know if this is in the cards for me, Kelly. I just can't. And those words right away limit yourself. They put you into a box or into walled energy that says, I'm not going to make any moves. And yet, you know, deep down, that's what you want. You want those moves. Let's see, what are the next steps here? What's going to come from this full moon in Aries? Strength. Waking the lion, I'm telling you. Having the strength and the courage. You know, maybe you need to go back and rewatch that chakra reading that I just posted called Waking the Lion. I think there's going to be messages in there for you. Two of Swords. Are you in the old? Are you in the new? You know, I say it every day. I don't know if there's a day that goes by that I don't say it. What decision do you have to make right now? Nine of Pentacles, to feel good in your own skin. Self-worth, self-value, self-respect. I'm telling you, this is sacral chakra, pre-empress energy. You have to decide what makes you feel good or what's going to satisfy you. It's about you. It's not about them or anyone else. It's about you. You have the power to choose. Stop putting your power in other people's hands, your life in everybody else's hands. You're the decision maker. You're the main character. And the Two of Pentacles is telling you, you've got to balance yourself. You've got to ask yourself, what's the biggest fish to fry? What's at the top of your priority list? And if that's not you at the top of your priority list, you've got to rethink it. Now, 2-2 could be an angel number that you're seeing. Let's take a look at the 4 agreements cards here. Okay. Don't overdo. I talk about it all the time. Don't overgive, overdo, problem solve. Let's read the back. Always do your best, but don't overdo. When you overdo, you deplete your body and go against yourself, and it will take you longer to accomplish your goal. 100%. I talk about this in regards to relationships and career all the time. When you go to work, do your job, do it well, but don't be overdoing anything, overgiving, because the moment you start doing that, you become really hard to replace, meaning they're not going to want to give you that promotion or those accolades. They're going to keep you in the position that you're in, because if you do it so well, how can anybody do it better? Who's going to come in when they need you? Who's going to do that extra work when they need it? If you're doing all that, why would they make any changes? And the same thing goes in relationships. When you're overgiving, overdoing, and problem solving, you're putting yourself in a position where you're depleted, you're last, and you're not getting the reciprocation. You're not going to get the promotion in the relationship either, because you're doing everything without having earned it, the person earning it from you, right? You're just giving it. You know, there was an analogy that I heard a while back that I haven't repeated in a while, but maybe it's a time to remind. You know, think of a job interview. Let's say you need a master's degree for this particular position and you don't have it. And they say to you, hey, you know, we really like you. We're going to give you this position with the condition that you go work on your master's. How likely are you to work on your master's after getting the position? You've already got the job. So the same thing does apply in day-to-day, right? Or in relationships. Let's take a Moonology card here just to see what else we need to know. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Absolutely. It's coming. It's time you let go of the old stuff and move yourself forward. So I really hope this resonates. Please let me know in the comments how you're feeling, what stuck out at you. Yeah, this is really intense energy, actually. I can feel the increasing messages coming through. Very, very interesting. Now, we are doing a full moon Zoom on Friday, October 18th at 6 p.m. Eastern. It is recorded. It's $22. If you're able to make it, great. If not, you can watch the recording of the general collective reading. There's also included a mini reading that is personalized for you and will be sent to you by the next new moon. And that new moon will be in Scorpio. So very interesting energies coming our way with Scorpio season. So I'm going to put these off to the side. And while I'm doing that, just take a second and think about what you just heard or what we just talked about. Okay, let's take these cards away. And let's go now to deck number 3. So as I'm shuffling, take a second, set your intentions, see where it takes you. All right, overall themes and messages. We have here flow. Wow, look at that moon. Emotions. You might be feeling quite emotional. The emotions may be flowing. Also, this is telling you to ride the wave. I always think of the tides, you know, how the moon pulls the tides. It's important to go with the flow and see where things take you. How do you know something is not going to be the best thing that ever happened to you? Flexibility, exactly. Go with the flow. Be flexible. Look at this tiger here. Actually, this reminds me of the picture that I posted on my Instagram of the Canadian Thanksgiving hike that I went on that trail. It looks so similar, although there was no tiger on the trail. Let's see. What else? Maybe that's me. I'm the tiger on that trail. That's you. That's finding your inner power. Purification. Look at the sunflower here. Beautiful energy. Purification. Rain is so cleansing. You know, tears can be very cleansing as well. Purifying the energy. Okay. Let's take a look now at the tarot. Let's see what's going on in your headspace. The Knave of Wands. Okay, this is Page of Wands. Yeah, see, this is telling you to go on an adventure. Go on an adventure. Enjoy life. Be open. Be flexible. Go with the flow. Try new things. See, there's the sun. The Yes card. Happiest card in the deck. There's your sunflower. You know, look towards the sun. Get in the sun. Six of Wands. Victory. Love that Aries energy, you know. Look at this fire. You can see the fire coming through. I mean, it is a full moon in Aries. That's fiery, passionate, intense energy. Interesting. You know why you need this? Because you've been in the Hanged Man energy. You've been in neither nor, in limbo, needing clarity. And at a certain point, you got to get up and go. You got to make a move. Now let's see in your heart space. What do we need to know here? Ace of Swords. There's some truth and clarity coming your way. You know, the full moon reveals things. You're going to get some truth, or you're going to start living your authentic truth. There's the moon. Can't make it up. And by the way, look at these two cards right above and below each other, the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon, that's eclipse energy. Everybody keeps describing this full moon, like I said, like it's like almost like eclipsey, right? So that's about like union and coming together. That's where you get sort of this inner click that something is working or shifting. And let's see what else. The Chariot. Yep, moving yourself forward in your heart space. What are you passionate about? What do you love to do that you stopped doing because life got in the way? What would you like to embark on? Maybe there's new love coming for you. Look, Page of Coins is studying and learning. What is it you want to do? It's also implementation. You've learned a lot. You have wisdom and knowledge. Knowledge is power, but what you do with it is even more powerful. What do you intend to do with the information or that clarity that you get? Now your next steps, Two of Coins, balancing your life. What's at the top of your priority list? What's your biggest fish to fry right now? What do you need to simplify? You have work to do. And maybe there needs to be more of a work-life balance. You know, don't make everything about work. You know, sometimes we use work to distract ourselves so that we don't have to think. Don't do that. I know work's important. Yes, we have to earn money. But at the same time, your well-being, your mental health, your mind, body, soul needs attention too. And there's the Three of Coins, collaboration, working together, going to the next level. You know what's so interesting is that right away I see this earth, you know, very strong earth energy. Yet I know it's a full moon in Aries and the energy is so intense and fiery. Every reading has had this element or a theme of stability. You know, this is all tangible. The next steps, seeing things tangibly. This tells you to believe in miracles. Okay? Now, interesting, we've got three knave energy. Knaves are pages, and pages are messengers. So there's some very strong messages here to enjoy life, go on an adventure, okay? To study, to learn something, to gather knowledge or implement knowledge. The Page of Cups, believe in miracles. Anything is possible. It's possible. Stop saying it's not possible or that it can't be done or not sure. It's okay not to be sure about something, but you still have to be open to the possibilities of what can come your way. And here's a possibility coming our way is a kitty cat who is making an appearance. Of course, she wanted you to know to be adventurous and make some spontaneous moves like jumping up on the table. Let's take a look at the Four Agreements cards here. Let's see what we need to know. Assume nothing. Well, there's the message because that came up in another reading as well. Okay, you might want to look at reading number 1 if you haven't already. Assume nothing. I'll read it again for you. In any kind of relationship, we can make the assumption that others know what we think and we don't have to say what we want. We assume they're going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do what we want, we feel hurt and think, how could you do that? You should know. Assume nothing. Assume nothing. Okay, let's take a look at a Moonology card just to see what else you need to know as some last bit of guidance. Now, please in the comments, let me know if this reading has resonated with you. You know, are there any words or cards that stood out at you? I always appreciate the interactions we have with each other. The answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini energy. You got it. There's stuff coming, and I told you, there's definitely some aha moments or epiphanies here. So I really appreciate you listening to this reading, 2 of the readings, all 3 of the readings. I think there's some really deep messages here. Like I said, this moon is intense. It's going to bring about some changes for us, but embrace them. They could be the best thing that ever happened to you. So thank you very much for listening, and I wish you the most amazing full moon in Aries.